Satisfaction. It's a word that gets tossed around a lot these days. It seems appropriate with the constant hustle that everyone, especially artists and musicians, are engaged in, constantly trying to one-up each other. It's no wonder that we can't seem to learn to be satisfied. Satisfied with what exactly? If you're a full-time artist or musician, you will have bills to pay. There's a pandemic going on as of early 2021, but even if it wasn't there, we'd still be engaged in the grind. Spotify and streaming services in general have devalued recorded music, both in the eyes of artists and audiences alike. Instagram and TikTok, the harbingers of bite-sized content, have shortened people's attention spans into teaspoon-sized servings. The music gurus say dumb shit like, find your niche. But if everyone has a niche, does anyone really have one? Are these questions too profound? Hi, I'm Avik D'Souza, EFD Productions, and I am a part-time music composer producer. Right off the bat, I guess it's easy for people to not take me seriously since I am not all in. Well, I used to be all in. I have interned for a major artist in India, spent 2 years producing independently before I joined a podcast company and started scoring music for the podcasts by them. In an age where for a few dollars one can license terabytes of music at the click of a button, there wasn't really too much value in what I was doing, and I wasn't really enjoying the process of being told what to do with my music anymore. So I quit that gig and started doing video as a full-time job. Lo and behold, I started enjoying the process of making music again. Or did I? You see, for the longest time I haven't put out any original music. It was just not worth the effort. I kept making excuses from simple ones like I need a new synth, or I need this plugin, to I need a new computer, or I need a new DAW. Well, the last two were because I was doing music full time, and making music for myself on the same computer using the same DAW felt like working, and I was really not starting to enjoy my work. Really not enjoy it. If you remember, when I was still in my previous place, I had a lot of stuff there. And while it was all well and good, I really couldn't use most of it. Occasionally, I had needed a physical tool. I'd use my Yamaha Reface CP for its really beautiful electric piano sounds, or the Behringer Model D for its Minimoog patches. I have only ever used my Korg Monologue for maybe one track that I haven't even released and that I don't intend to. I have a Launchpad Mini Mark III because it looks good next to the Machina Micro Mark III that I also have. I have a Machina Micro Mark III that I barely even use anymore. Not because I don't know how to use it or I haven't gotten around to learning it, but because I did, and each time I open it, I get overwhelmed by the sheer number of samples and choices that I have to create with it. And I just end up noodling around. I have a Complete Control M32 because I thought it would pair nicely with the Machina. It does, but I use it pretty much to listen to what patch I'm using with my trusty mouse and keyboard. They're just a basic gaming mouse and mechanical keyboard, nothing special here. Those of you who've been around know that I don't really use anything else to program my music into my DAW. I have a small modular synthesizer as well, but it is stuck in a different part of the world, so I haven't really gotten around to using it much. So what is the point of this conversation exactly? I used to be this cocky kid in engineering college who suddenly chanced upon a crack of FL Studio. Suddenly I was making weird music but not really knowing what I was doing. Fast forward to the end of my college and I discovered that I had a strong talent for programming music. And I was able to use a second pirated software called Reason 5 in limited capacity to write some orchestral parts. My music was simple, carried emotion, and people felt whatever I needed them to feel when they listened to it. The music lacked any form of advanced technique or production style, but that's not the point. My tracks were just muses of my emotions at that given point of time. I went to music school, and while doing a 1-year diploma in music production and another one in drums, I started to learn technique, you see, and then it went all downhill from there. I was so enthralled with the possibilities of what I could program that I was trying triple time signatures and polyrhythms and all kinds of insane chord progressions. I had more half finished ideas than all the music I had ever made, and I did not enjoy any of them simply because they were too much. There were too many notes, too many layers, too much harmony, too many rhythms, and worst of all, they lacked any semblance of emotion. And music without emotion is just noise. That's just my opinion, though. Even as I left music school, I was writing complicated stuff. You might be curious as to what these musics sounded like. Well, one day I just shift deleted everything, and poof, 500 days worth of music was lost in the ether. How did that make me feel? Absolutely fucking liberated. Right off the bat, I wrote 7 new tracks. I deleted 4 of them because I didn't like them. I bundled the rest and released my first and only EP. I'd like to stop my story here, as there is no happy ending to it. I am discovering new things about the process every day. Getting a job in video that pays the bills and fills up the old bank account has been strangely liberating. I can write music freely and actually get around to something I have been procrastinating for 4 years, my YouTube channel. So what does this have to do with you? Good question. This video opened up with me just connecting 3 simple pieces of gear together to make some nice music noodles. I suck at playing the piano. I have absolutely no talent at it despite years of training. But cranking out simple, elegant sounds out of a machine is simply something that I have sorely missed in my journey. That illustrated well. Not having a screen in front of me and a grid means that there is no pressure to create. The tools are few. The keyboard is Yamaha Reface CP and it is limited in its sounds to just 6 patches. 7 if you find the Easter egg. This Marshall Vibratrum pedal is something I picked up recently on sale, and it is a simple vibrato tremolo pedal. I mean, it's in the name. The recording device is an old Zoom H4n that somebody left in my house. True story. Long story. Anyway, I had initially sat down to explore some sounds with it. Nothing really came out of it because I had a camera pointed at me, and that adds pressure. My point is that for a few minutes, I thoroughly enjoyed what I was doing. It was liberating and I was actually lost in the immersion of what I was playing. It was lovely, but also far out of my comfort zone of programming things. This brings me neatly to my next point. The comfort zone. Do you use a DAW because of the workflow? The workflow, in my honest opinion, is the biggest delusion an artist can create to work against themselves. If you're not working outside your comfort zone, you are no longer exploring. And if you are no longer exploring, you might as well as retire doing music altogether. See, I found out that the comfort zone was why I had gotten bored of making music. I use several DAWs, including but not limited to FL Studio, Adobe Audition. I can use Machina. I can even create entire tracks live with Machina. It's not that hard, you see. Once you nail down the basics of one DAW, you pretty much have the DNA of all of them. See, I found out that the comfort zone was why I had gotten bored of making music. We'll come full circle. My excuses were me thinking that I was bored of making music in one way, but I wanted to try another. But why do I need a new DAW or a laptop when I have a computer to both perform and produce with, a plethora of instruments to get lost in, and a lot of time to do exactly that, because I still rely on my comfort zone of programming music, simply because I am good at it. I mean, for real, it takes me zero effort to program anything. FL Studio just makes it that easy. But FL Studio is a lot more than a piano roll, right? It's a digital audio workstation, just like Ableton Live, or Cubase, or Machina. Anything is possible within the confines of this software. I just have to try and push the boundaries a little further with every new production of mine. That way, writing music never gets boring because each track is a brand new experience. And this brings me to my next point again. Limitations are great for creativity. Once I got my first high-end laptop, I never pirated software ever again. A friend and I pooled in money to buy me FL Studio. It has great stock synths, but the patches are mediocre at best. However, I remember a time when I was using every trick up my sleeve to write the most realistic sounding music that I could. And if I couldn't, I used a different patch. This kept me on my toes, and I had to always find new solutions to different problems. Today, in terms of sound, very little challenges me anymore, and thanks to my native instruments Complete 12 Ultimate Edition. If I need a sound, I have a patch for that, and I can tweak it to my heart's content. It's very convenient for commercial work, but for my own music, it is so boring. And that segues me to my next point, which is stop buying shit that you don't need so that you can make music with the shit that you already have. There's always a new plugin or a synth or a guitar pedal out there that promises to make you the next big thing. After going through an insane phase of gas or gear acquisition syndrome, I kind of got bored and I just wanted to make music, but like I said earlier, it's hard to be satisfied. I miss the good old days when all I needed was just a laptop and I would create magic, at least to my ears. So what can we possibly do to feel happy about creating music? 1. Keep your expectations in check. It's very easy to create an amazing track and expect 100,000 or 1,000,000 views. Now, unless you get really, really lucky, that's just not going to happen. Everybody wants the instant gratification of likes and views. Like on Instagram, where a large following can easily be created by creating repetitive, one-dimensional content. You don't need to focus too much on quality over there because everyone is going to listen to everything on their phone speakers anyway. Making beats is easy, but making entire tracks or songs is quite hard, isn't it? When the going gets tough, almost everyone turns tail and runs. That's not how this works. Well, almost every single successful YouTuber will tell you that the key to their success on YouTube, the reason why they have so many hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, is because of 2 reasons: quality and consistency. Quality, I mean, no Sherlock. If they're not going to make quality content, nobody's going to watch their videos, right? But consistency is what I want to talk about. Most of us have quality, sure. That's why we have high expectations for our music. But consistency is something we sorely lack. If you're not constantly putting out music, not constantly perfecting yourself and making yourself better, if you're not constantly creating, then why should anybody listen to you? What makes you so special among all the hundreds of thousands or even millions of artists in the ether? So basically, the word we're looking for right here is persistence. These YouTubers kept creating content regardless of how many views they got until they rose to the very top. 2. Remember why you wanted to make music in the first place. This one's easy to forget. I forget it all the time. Because I want everything that I create to be an instant hit. That has never worked for me and probably never will. I chose to make music for one reason and one reason only. Because I enjoy it. See, I enjoy the constant stream of ideas. I enjoy creating the track and every few hours patting myself on the back for some spanking new idea, or giggling with pleasure every time I flawlessly execute some new technique that I never even knew I had. I enjoy releasing the music for the 100 people who are going to listen to it, And then the 10 people who get back to me and say that they loved it. And the other 5 who get back to me and say that, hey, you know what, it could be better. I enjoy all of it. I have totally decided to stop making music for the sake of releasing it and making everything a part of some EP or some single or some album that nobody really cares about, and instead focus on creating music simply for the fact that I enjoy it. 3. Keep it simple. Try and use the least number of tools that you have so that you can retain the most amount of focus. See, focus, just like time, is a finite resource. You only have a limited amount of focus before you start getting tired. So use it wisely. I have made entire orchestral compositions and arrangements using only Contact plugins, and before that using only FL Studio stock plugins. It keeps me focused and helps me gain mastery over my tools. I'm not saying that you don't have to go and get that hot new plugin that everybody has, but just think about it. If you use a different set of tools from everybody else, you run the highest chance of sounding more unique. Your ideas and your toolbox will be your own, ergo your own unique sound. 4. Be unapologetically you. Human beings are social animals, and part of that includes our drive to be accepted and respected. One of the easiest ways to do this is through the exchange of ideas. However, too often does the exchange of ideas devalue into just opinion. Opinion is not feedback. Everybody has opinions. Everybody will tell you their opinions because it takes them the least amount of time and energy to think about something that makes them feel better about themselves. You should use sausage fattener. You should use more cowbells. You should use more compression. Yeah, cool, whatever, man. That's their taste. You have yours. Develop it. Do your own thing. If you thought this video was about selling music or how to get more plays on your latest hit, this isn't the video for you. This is just a video about my thoughts and why some people, I know myself included, find it really hard to make music these days. And this video is also about tackling a lot of the misconceptions and the stigma around making music in this fast-paced world today. If you want to know how to get better numbers on your music, I'd like to divert your attention to Damien Keys and Adam Ivy. I will have links to their channels both at the end of this video and in the description down below, so feel free to check them out. In fact, you should check them out. I have learned a lot of strategies about creating a following and building my presence on YouTube. I'm not discouraged from the fact that my last few videos have very few views as compared to my most popular videos ever. All I know is that I have some talent at this and that I love creating videos in the first place. So I resolved to put out at least 2 videos a month henceforth, with content that I think will be useful to my fellow musicians and artists. Numbers be damned. What are your thoughts on this? Please let me know in the comments below. I read each and every single one of them. I hope that you find this video useful or entertaining in some sort of way. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the good old like button and hit subscribe while you're at it if you don't want to miss out on future content. If you do not find this useful, educational, or entertaining, then please let me know in the comment section how I can improve it. Like I said, I read each and every single one of the comments, and I will try my best to integrate your feedback into my next video. Until then, keep creating, stay safe. Erwig D'Souza out.